Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beats. Engines roar, can't stay off seats. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. NFR, NFR. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Go, victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, yeah. NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Go, victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin.
Well, gather round, folks, let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, 'cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that mill. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run.
Silverstone town. Folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Rolled into Red Bull's gate. Kiwi kid with dreams so great. 2 races in, he hit the wall. Max Verstappen wrecked him, y'all. He thought he'd shine, but oh sweet son, Max chewed him up like a 2-day run. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Daddy Rick tried with his big old grin, but Max spun him out, said I always win. Gasly and Albon, they took their turn, crashed and burned, oh how they yearned. Perez hung on till his tires were flat, now Williams gone, imagine that. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Red Bull barn's a lonely place. If you ain't Max, you're out of the race. Liam packed his boots, said I'm done, I reckon. Max just smirked, next victim's beckoning. The pit crew sang, he's too dang fast. Every teammate's a thing of the past. Now Lawson's back with the junior squad, singing why'd I think I'd beat that god. Max's shadow looms so tall and wide. Another teammate's pride just died. From Daniel Pierre, I was Checo too. Liam learned what we all knew. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. So here's to Liam with a beer and a side. 2 races down and a why'd I try. Max keeps winning that Dutch tornado. Red Bull's second seat, a big oh no-no.
Orlando made you had it rough. Car so Fans yelling, mate, where's your pace at? Year after year, you'd smile through the pain, dreaming of glory, but stuck in the slow lane. Lando, Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscars in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Oh, Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. Now here comes 2025. McLaren's car is straight up alive. Lando's grinning, he's topping the charts, screaming, this beast got a million parts. But wait a sec, who's that in the other seat? Some Aussie kid who's bringing the heat. Lando, Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscars in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Oh, Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. Oscar's new, but he's stealing the show, passing Lando like, mate, let's go. Lando's like, I waited years for this ride. Oscar shrugs, cool story, now step aside. Team radio crackles, Lando behave, but Oscar's too busy catching that wave. Poor Lando thought he'd rule the track, but Oscar's out there, no looking back. Fans love the kid with the cheeky grin. Lando's like, when's my parade gonna begin? Still their mates, they laugh, they jest. McLaren's got two and they're both the best. Lando, Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscar's in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Oh, Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. So here's to Lando, still chasing that crown, and Oscar the rookie who's shaking it down. Two fast mates in a papaya dream. McLaren's laughing, what a chaotic team. Oh, Lando, Oscar's got your number made.
Daddy bought him a seat at Williams, hoping his boy would make him proud. But every turn was filled with slip-ups in a sea of screaming crowds. The wheels would spin, the dream would fade. Another crash, another frown. He couldn't keep up with the legends, always letting his team down. Oh, Lance, he's living on a prayer, with Daddy's money everywhere. But buying dreams ain't buying skill. He's crashing hard round every hill. When the axe came down and hope seemed lost, Dad bought Aston, spared no cost. Another chance, another goal, but he's still spinning out so slow. He hits the walls, he finds the grass, breaking hopes with every pass. He's got the power, got the name, but all he brings is crashing shame. On the grid he's just a shadow of the heroes racing past. No amount of cash can save him from a future that's fading fast. Oh, Lance, he's living on a prayer, with Daddy's money everywhere. came down and hope seemed lost. Dad bought Aston, spared no cost. Another chance, another goal, but he's still spinning out so slow. He hits the walls, he finds the grass, breaking hopes with every pass. He's got the power, got the name, but all he brings is crash and shame. On the grid, he's just a shadow of the heroes racing past. No amount of cash can save him from a future that's fading fast.
Max the Maverick.
He rolls to the grid, eyes sharp as a blade. A storm in the cockpit, never afraid. Teammates tremble, they can't keep pace. Max takes the wheel, owns every race. From car to crown, he carved his way. A predator born to slay the day. The records fall, the doubters fade. A legend's forged, the price is paid.
Max Verstappen, king of the fight. Burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more.
Are born, they tried their best, but Max just laughs, aces the test. He dances through corners, a devil's art. Tears up the field, rips it apart. Red Bull's wings, they used to soar. Now it's Max who evens the score. The car's not prime, the rivals grin, but he still finds a way to win.
Max Verstappen, king of the fight. Burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. Monaco streets, Silverstone rain. He turns the chaos into his gain. A lion's soul, a warrior's creed. Speed's his drug, it's all he needs. They build the walls, he breaks them down. Three-time king still wears the crown. Max Verstappen, king of the fight. Burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with the mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. So raise the flag, let the anthem play. Max the Maverick rules the day. Through grit and guile, he's here to stay. A racing god in every way.
Lando in the cockpit, heartbeats loud. Chasing dreams under pressure, lost in the crowd. Corner two shots spun out wide and free. Championship slipped like sand into the sea. On the chicane, caught him slow on the twist. A second's hesitation, victory missed. Green in spot, he slid off the track. Fans gasping as the sky turned black. Pressure breakdown. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Right. Pit stop chaos, tires not there. Mechanics fumbling in the pit lane's glare. Leaderboard slipping like oil on the floor. Lando's hopes falling, can't take anymore. Max takes the lead with a grin so bright. Lando's in shadows, can't find the light. Wheel to wheel, but he's losing grip. Champions rise as dreams start to slip. One last race, the engines scream, hoping for a miracle, grasping at the dream. Final lap and there's no more to give. Lessons in the losses, that's how we live. Pressure breakdown and a running wild. Max speeds by with the champion smile. The stakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild. Max speeds by with the champion smile. The stakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear.
Like a shooting star, the engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR. Calls to play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. And now Fernando calls to play on NFR race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf queen, the top supporter scene. In the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
It's time to go. Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beat. Engines roar, can't stay off seats. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. Track like a shooting star. Feel the rush. NFR.
me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that mill. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to NFR, and welcome back to Monday nights. That means it's time for League v League. Of course, I'm sure everybody here watching is familiar with the format, familiar with what happens here on a Monday night. If you're not familiar, 4 leagues from right here in South Africa come together for one race every week on a Monday night. 4 leagues, 4 drivers from each league, giving you a total of 16. And then the other 4 spots, well, they're taken up by engineers, 1 for each league. Of course, that will help the drivers with some additional data that they wouldn't be able to have from the cockpit. Of course, in the championship so far, bringing up the Constructors' Championship, because that's the only championship there is. A team championship, SKR leads the way on 193 points. LSA, the defending champions in P2, almost 100 points back, 98 points back. For QM8, they had a good result last week, takes them up to 67. And now the team that will be hoping for something special tonight would be Fusion. Of course, some of those gaps will look very, very big at the halfway point in the calendar. But remember, this isn't your usual championship. You're not racing as an individual, you're racing as a team. And rather than just having the one teammate, you've got three. So of course, if your league were to finish 1, 2, 3 and 4, as well as getting that fastest lap, well, that's going to give you a points tally on the night of 71 points. And if your opponent doesn't have a good night, well then that championship can swing very, very quickly. We said the championship lead was 98 points. Maximum you can pick up on a night is 71. So we know that lead can flip at any time. We're driving on board with one of the SKR drivers. That's the league leading the championship. Don't think they came into this championship as favourites. Well, they've definitely raised eyebrows. No lap times on our screens just yet, but pretty much everybody is out on circuit. Most of them still on out laps. I believe Pantry Star's already on a quick lap. Andre's just started a quick lap. And Jonas remains in the pits. That is a luxury only the quicker drivers have. Just to mess about in the pits. I have to be out there as soon as the session starts and hope for the best. Some guys can wait right to the end and get it spot on. Don't exaggerate, Visor, it's not a 100-point gap, it's a 98-point gap. No need to bring 3 digits into this just yet. I was going to say at the front of the field, but there is no front of the field. We're still waiting for our first lap times of the evening. But we can get a benchmark. Circuit that needs no introduction. Of course, took over from Australia as the season opener for quite some time. That has been corrected in 2025. Of course, F1 returning to Australia for an opening round. What it did do was steal that official test venue from Catalonia. Of course, pre-season testing now happens every year in Bahrain. Pretty sad for Catalonia, they've lost their test track and now they're about to lose their Grand Prix. 2025 will be that final Spanish Grand Prix at Catalonia. First lap times now coming in. Sugar Bear over the line with a 28.4. Shane over the line 28.5. Pantry Star 28.6. This has become the norm in League v League. You see extremely close lap times. Remember, each league sending 4 representatives. And usually the slowest guys in the league don't really put up their hand for this. So if they're one of the 4 drivers, I can bet you they're quick. Welcome to everyone in the comment section. Lots of you there already. I see Visor, I see Death Queen, I see Dixie. Ubuntu was actually the first one in here, or at least he was the first one to say hello to me. Jevin also inside here. Good to have everyone in the chat. If you haven't said hello, well, that's why I haven't said hello. I don't know you're here. Say something in the comment section. Let me know you're here. Let me know who you're supporting. Let me know what you think pole position will be. Currently, France, quickest man out on circuit, 127.8. The only driver in the 27s. And then, well, some of these names, I know them very well from Season 1. LSA, team in P2 in this championship, looking for a strong result, bringing out their A game. France and Lam Royale out on circuit. Those are two very quick names. I can tell you ahead of time if you're not familiar. Getting too excited about LSA while 4QM8 goes to the top of the field in the form of Tian, 27.4. Said France was the only one in the 27s. Well, Tian's just moved the goalpost a little bit. We're still waiting for times from some pretty quick drivers. Jonas still in the pits. We have Blade out on an outlap. This is a driver I haven't seen for quite some time. Nick Gishin, also a quick driver on his day. Consistency usually his biggest enemy, but when he gets everything right, he's not someone you want to go wheel to wheel with. He's a real racer. This is provisional pole sitter Tian. Did that 27.4 on his first run. Haven't brought up any data for you just yet, so let's do some of that. Bring up some data on your screen. Don't think there's going to be anything funny happening in the tyres column. As you can see, everybody out on a set of soft tyres. This is Andre, one of the SKR drivers. His initial lap was a 28.8. Usually it's very, very close in pace to another man called Skull. We use them as a reference for each other. Tonight I don't see Skull in the lineup, so I can't tell if Andre's at his best. He goes over the line. Current best is a 28.7. But he's doing his usual run, he's doing his usual bit. He's doing what Skull does. Puts on a set of tyres right at the beginning of the session, goes out there pretty early, spends a lot of laps on that set of tyres. Just circulating the race circuit, trying to get a feel for things. And then towards the end of quali, he comes in, puts on a fresh set of rubber, and effectively goes faster. Remember, when that soft tyre was at its best, Andre would have had a lot of extra fuel on board to do those laps. And by the time the car lightens, the tyres are no longer at their best. So once he comes in, drains all that fuel, puts on fresh rubber, time is guaranteed, unless he makes a rather big hash of things. That was Boatsy in P13. Now you're looking at Jonas, one of the SKR drivers. Very late appearance out of the pits. He sat in the pits probably the longest out of everyone. We still have another two drivers without lap times, but I think they have been out on circuit. They just haven't completed a timed lap. Whereas Jonas has been sitting in the safety of the pit lane up until now. He is out on circuit. We know he's quick, so keep your eyes on him. See where he can put that SKR car. Tian, 4QM8. They were at the bottom of the championship not too long ago. They got a good result last week. That elevated their championship slightly. They'll be looking for another good result today. As for the first SKR driver, all the championship leaders, their highest car is down in P6. Much work needs to be done on the final two runs. If they have time for another two runs, just over 7 minutes remaining. Riding with SKR, this is Sugar Bear, just demoted another position now, down to P7. That's because Jonas has just become the top rated SKR driver. He goes up into P3. It's good enough for the second row, not quite enough for the first row. 27.6 for France in P2, 27.7 for Jonas in P3. absolutely nothing in it. In the top 3, we have 3 different leagues. 4QM8 leads the way for the time being. LSA P2 and Jonas P3 for SKR. Got Blade in P4, but he's in the pits. Lam Royale, another LSA driver, in P5. Pfizer asking who is driving for SKR tonight. Good question for drivers. Obviously Jonas, one of them. Shane's just gone up into P4. That's one of the Fusion drivers. They need a good result tonight. They'll be hoping for it. Next SKR driver in the field is Sugar Bear. Then it's Andre. And then who am I missing? He might be in the pits. Some of these drivers do crossover. Some of these drivers will drive in multiple leagues. They would have obviously had to select one league to drive for in the League V League. So some of them will be racing against good friends. Remember, no individual championship. All about the teams. The objective: get all 4 cars in the points. And as mentioned earlier, if you get the perfect night, it's 4 in the top 4 with the fastest lap, 71 points. And all of a sudden that 98 point lead doesn't seem so large. Here's your answer. Andre, Sugar Bear, Jonas and Pantry Star are the SKR team. That's the one I was missing. Pantry Star. Got the other 3 right. Tian returns to the pits. France in P2, then Jonas P3, Shane for Fusion in P4, then it's David's, I believe that's an LSA driver. We've got Blade, one of the Fusion drivers, so you got Shane up in P4, Blade down in P6. Good results so far for Fusion. Another Fusion driver, this is Taserface. I think I've got to get that soundboard of Taserface from Thor Ragnarok, and every time I go over to his name, I'll just play that instead. Taserface returns to the pits. Not a lot of action out on circuit, lots of cars in the pits, preparing for that final run, that last attempt. This is when they dig out everything. If they've got anything left in their pockets, now is when it comes out. If there was any extra fuel in the car, because they didn't quite want to show their pace early on, this is when all of the fuel comes out. This is when you see the real deal. Who's got the pace? Who's been fooling around? Maybe they weren't fooling around. Maybe they just wanted all the attention at the end. We'll soon find out. Got a 4QM8 at the front. We're looking at a 4QM8 at the back. It's Trompy. And then Nick Gishin. Who is he driving for? Is that 4QM8? Livery's not quite matching up. But the purple does suggest that it might be a Fusion car. Well, that's definitely 4Q. That is definitely Fusion. The purple and the gold. That's definitely LSA. Can't miss that livery. That's SKR. Another Fusion. Does make it a lot easier. Remember the first time we ever did League v League? It was just a 3-round series. It was a prototype for what later became this. Of course, this is season 2. We've had a season 1. Both of them 10-round seasons, but we had a prototype season prior to this. Just the 3 rounds of League v League. And back then, they used the F1 cars, and I had to remember which teams were linked with which teams. So you'd have 4 cars, for example, driving for SKR. 2 of them were Red Bulls, 2 of them were McLarens, and I had to remember that. So these liveries do make things a lot easier on me. I suppose that's why we had the prototype series. Top 3, Tian, France and Jonas all out on outlaps. Shane the man in P4, he's a little up the road from them because he's already on a quick lap. Looking for something a little more. Currently in P4, 27.791. The driver ahead of him, 27.761. So 300ths of a second between him and Jonas. That's the difference on the second row. Absolutely nothing in it. The difference on the front row, well, it's 7/10. 7/10 covers the front row. 3/10 covers the second row. How much closer do you want? And if that wasn't enough, the third row is covered by 3/10 as well. Just tenths of a second, or hundredths of a second rather, covering the drivers in P1, drivers in P3 and 4, drivers P5 and 6. So you don't have to be too far off that lap time to find yourself in the midfield. Sugar Bear, he will no longer improve. His session has come to the end. First driver to cross the checkered flag. Drivers out on track will still have the opportunity to finish their current lap. But this is it. You mess it up, that's where you're going to start. You're looking at France, the driver currently in P2. We've got Tian in P1, also on a lap. Shane did improve, found that little bit extra, went up into P3. Jonas is the man he demoted, but I think he's going slowly. It's going to be about Tian, it's going to be about France. Which one is going to be quicker? Which one has that little bit more? Tian goes over sector 2 and lights it up in purple. Keep your eyes on the provisional pole sitter because I think he's got a little more. Davids goes up into P3, demotes Shane and takes the checkered flag. Now we're looking at Tian. He's going to be the next one over the line. Does he find an improvement? Yes, he does. 26.5. And if that isn't showboating, I don't know what is. France improves to a 27.3. But that pole position has since moved on. You're looking at Shane, but I believe he's on a slow down lap. He's going to pick up P4. And I think everybody else, well, they've had their 18 minutes and the session is over. Told you championships can flip very quickly. And that 98-point lead, well, there isn't an SKR driver in the top 4. And then your results real quick because there's a few to get through. Tian takes pole position for the League v League. France P2, Davids P3, Shane P4. Then we've got the first SKR driver, Jonas in P5, Sugarbear P6, Andre P7, Blade P8, Taserface P9, and Lamb Royale makes up the top 10. Then we've got Pantry Star P11, we've got Claassen P12, Boatsy 13, we've got the Teddy Bear, the Drunk Teddy Bear in P14, Tromp P15, and Nick Gishin will make up the field. I look towards the comment section and what do I see? Wow, what a lap. Indeed. Indeed. Looked like it was going to be close. He waited right to the very end to prove us wrong. There was nothing close, was there? Of course, now we look at the empty pit lane. Remember, it's probably the only rule that is slightly different from SKR and SAFRL on this channel is that we have a short break. We have a 5-minute break in between qualifying and the start of the race. That allows drivers to make sure they've got their strategy locked in. And depending on how professional these F1 drivers are, maybe squeeze in some time for a smoke. I'm going to take a short 2 or 3 minute break and I'll be back with you in a few moments. And I am back. Of course, a little bit of a break for all of the drivers, as mentioned before. Don't know how many of the viewers have been watching the news, but Europe's having a blackout and everybody's going absolutely crazy, dealing with what we've become quite accustomed to dealing with. Formation lap came a lot earlier than expected. Good thing I didn't take a 3-minute break because we would have missed the start of the race. Thought there was a 5-minute break. I think somebody might have hit that X button a little too early. Guys eager to get away, cutting that 5-minute break short. Of course, we are at the Bahrain circuit with 4 FIA Grade 1 layouts. The only track on the calendar with 4 F1 approved layouts. Of course, that's the track you're looking at right now. That's the most popular of the layouts. And you also get what's called the Grand Prix layout, or rather the endurance layout, a layout that's not used very often. It's only used in F1 one time. There wasn't a lot of overtakes in that race, and the very next year we reverted to this layout. Another layout we've seen of this circuit was obviously the outer loop in 2020, where George Russell would have taken his debut victory for Mercedes had Mercedes not dropped the ball in the pits. And then obviously the 4th layout is a shortened version of the one you're looking at. Dion wasting no time. In fact, he gets to his grid spot very, very early. Some of the guys only starting down that back straight now. So he's going to sit in his grid spot for quite some time. Not ideal. Sometimes all the work you do on the formation lap, heating up the tires, warming up the brakes, preparing yourself for turn 1. That's what the formation lap's really all about. Preparation for turn 1. You might find yourself in a situation where if you've sat on that grid a little bit too long, you're going to lose some of that tire temperature you've been working so hard to generate on the formation lap. We now wait for the 5 red lights. They'll come on one by one. When all 5 of them are on, there'll be a pause. And when they go out, we will be underway about now. It's going to be for QM8 versus LSA, and straight away we've got what has happened there, folks. Well, Not quite sure what happened there. Lam Royale, 10-second penalty. Virtual safety car. All sorts of things happening at the start of the race. And, well, Pfizer saying safety car lap 1. Well, something tells me, folks, I'm no genius. Something tells me we have a broken lobby. Indeed. Why did my music come back on? I didn't mean the music to come back on. Well, there we go. Just confirmation. We do have a broken lobby. So there's only one thing left to do, and that's leave the broken lobby, wait for an invite. There will be now a short delay because we're going to have to make a new lobby. We're going to have to wait for everybody to get their invites and get into the lobby. And then once we're in the lobby, the admin, or the host of the lobby rather, will have to put everybody in their grid slots. According to how they qualified. I will be back with you in just a moment. Okay, we're back. Seems like we are in a new lobby. We're ready to go. Just now waiting for all of the drivers to get themselves back into the lobby. Then it might look like there's a bit of a pause, but that's because the host needs to put everybody back into their positions as they finished in qualifying. And then hopefully we can get going a little better the second time around. Now Visor said safety car on lap 1, and the stream was a little bit delayed, so when I saw the virtual safety car, basically that message popped up. So I think Visor may have got that prediction correct about 20 seconds ahead of time, because I think that's about how long the delay is. I think there's still music playing in the background. There we go. There, it's gone. There's no more music playing in the background. While we wait for the lobby to get going again, I'll take a short break, and I'm going to leave you with the sound of some Formula 1 V8s from the early 2000s. And we're back again. Hopefully this time around everything works out. Of course, the lobby broke right at the start of the race. In fact, we've seen that exact same thing not too long ago, maybe 2 weeks back. Everything went right in qualifying, everything went right in the formation lap. And then right at the red lights, everything went horribly wrong. So hopefully this time round, none of that. I see in the comment section a KFC lobby. I think that means the host of the lobby, well, he's trying to host this while at the same time stealing some KFC Wi-Fi to do it. Well, that would be an impressive feat. We return to the view we had not so long ago. Don't think we're going to get a break this time around either. Of course, a bit of delay in the proceedings. Guys will want to get going. They will have already decided what strategy they wanted to do the first time round. So I think they're just going to be locking in those exact same strategies and we should be underway shortly. Of course, we're going to have to redo that formation lap. And then when the 5 red lights come on one by one, we're going to have to hold our breath. But we don't see anything crazy. Of course, just as the race was getting started, I mentioned something about power cuts in Europe. If you're unaware, the entirety of Portugal, the entirety of Spain, and all of southern France, including Monte Carlo, currently have no electricity. Getting a sample of what happens here back home. This time we do get a lengthy break, maybe the 5-minute break. Everyone was reminded this time around, don't forget about the 5-minute break, but we have had a bit of a pause. Eventually we will get going. Reminder of the calendar. Remember last week we had the round that was decided by LSA. This week the round decided by SKR. That's Bahrain, that's where we are right now. Next week we will have a set race on the calendar. That means we're going to Brazil. Everyone knows we're going to Brazil. Then round 7 and 8 we're back to the mystery rounds chosen by the league. Fusion will choose round 7 and 4QM8 will choose round 8. Then we have a mystery race for round 9 that will be chosen, I believe, by the random spin wheel. That will be on the Fusion channel, and I'll announce that the moment they get those results. And then obviously we finish off where all seasons should finish off, Abu Dhabi. As far as the championship goes, 193 points for the championship leaders, SKR. LSA 95 points in second place, 98 points adrift, but I think they have a pretty strong lineup here today, and SKR is going to have to be on their very best. 4QM8 just the 67 points in P3, but they'll be hoping for a good result today. In fact, they've got pole position today. Then Fusion got some cars up the field as well. They'll be hoping to get as many of those cars into the points so they can lift themselves out of P4 in this team championship. Of course, no driver championship to speak of. That's all we get. Still no movement. We're still waiting. Let me know in the comment section what you think will happen in this race. Bahrain really not known for being one of those tracks where drivers accumulate too many penalties. as well as safety cars, not the most common thing. Bahrain, one of those circuits designed with ample runoff area. Finding a barrier on this circuit, well, it's bad luck. You've got to come off in a very unfortunate place in the race circuit, because for the most part all corners have lots and lots of runoff area and give you an opportunity to just get back on the tarmac as quickly as possible. So I don't think we're going to see too many safety cars. I don't want to say we're not going to get safety cars, because you should never say that. And hopefully not too many penalties. Been seeing a lot of penalties lately on the channel. Had a race in Canada the other day, so many penalties. In fact, we had a race in Saudi the other day, so many penalties. I wasn't even aware you could cut corners in Saudi. Probably explains why I'm not racing in the League v League, why I'm only critiquing it. I shouldn't feel too bad about commentating on drivers much faster than me. I'm basically Jolyon Palmer. Still waiting for everyone to get going. Visor saying ready up, Death Queen saying let's go, everybody ready to go in the comment section. Tired of listening to me ramble, but what else can I do? Of course, that's the way it works in sports sometimes. Get some pretty good commentators who weren't very good at the sport they're commentating on. It happens in soccer. Get some very good coaches who weren't particularly good soccer players. Get the dual green lights, and they're off for another formation lap. The other side of that is you get great soccer players trying to extend their lifetime in football by becoming coaches, and turns out they're not very good coaches. Sometimes these things don't go hand in hand. Martin Brundle, one of the best F1 commentators of all time, never got to win an F1 race. Beat Senna many times in Formula 3000. Just never had the luck, never had the right car at the right time. But he became quite the commentator. Of course, at the beginning of his commentary career, he still commentated with the great Murray Walker. And Murray Walker, well, he commentated with everyone. Guys are saying the subscribers looking nice. Thanks for that. I think it's on 850, somewhere there. So still trying to get to that 1,000. So if it's your first visit to the channel, if you're watching League v League from the NFR point of view for the first time, remember to subscribe if you enjoy it. Of course, we do this on a Sunday evening at 6 p.m. for SKR. That's the green and black team representing in this league. We also do another league, SAFRL. That's on a Tuesday night. That's tomorrow, also at 8 p.m. This round, for the most part, the same format, 50% race. But from a driving perspective, it's quite different. If somebody's in the same livery as you shouldn't be racing them. You need to work as a team. What is that SKR car doing in the background, waiting till the last second to get into his pit box? But hopefully this time, when the 5 red lights go out, we're going to have a race. And they do go out after a rather lengthy pause. Hopefully we don't see anyone flying off into the barriers this time, and we don't. Looks like a clean start for QM8 versus LSA. Who's going to come out of turn 1 in front? And it's for QM8. It's Tian leading the way from France in P2 for LSA. Then you got Shane, the first of the Fusion cars, in P3. Another LSA car, David's in P4. Taserface making up a position. Too much happening on lap 1. Andre up into the points for SKR. Boatsy P11. I think Drunk Teddy's lost a position. Pantry Star, he makes up a position, goes up into P12. This is Tian out front. We saw that lap in qualifying, and what a lap it was. But we know DRS, particularly on this game, can be quite overpowered. So even if Tian does have the superior pace to the man behind, if it's 4/10, half a second a lap, it all gets cancelled out. It all gets cancelled out by DRS. Let's go SKR, says Skull. WSKR, W Sugar Bear, let's go. Skull, one of the SKR drivers, not driving tonight. Instead, he's in the comments section, supporting his team, the championship leaders. Things looking a little better for SKR now. I was about to say one of their drivers up into P4, but Jonas loses momentum there. He's lost one position, and he'll be lucky to not lose more than that. Fusion trying to go up the inside. Jonas holding his own. Stays in P5 for now. He was in P4 briefly. Has to do it all over again. Thought we might see a scenario with a few drivers at the rear of the field going with softs, hoping for a good start. Instead, we've just got the one driver in the field that went for the soft tyre. That is Taserface, doing something different to everyone on track, including his teammates. The rest of the field, mediums or hards. Some drivers will be doing this race with the thoughts of an intervention, with the thoughts of a safety car. Sometimes you can't do that. Safety car never arrives. You'll end up looking a little silly. That soft tyre suggests to me early on that he might be on a 2-stop. Shane, the man in P3, sets the fastest lap of the race, lights up the track in purple, and we've got a race on our hands. It's 4QM8 P1, LSA P2, Fusion P3, and they have broken a gap. The top three in a race of their own for now. In P4 he has eventually made up that position again, but he's going to have to shake off Davids. Jonas up into P4. I believe that means we've got 4 leagues in the top 4. Yes we do. 4QM8 leads from LSA, then Fusion, then SKR. W for Visor, W for Skull, W for Death Queen, W for Chat. Welcome to everybody that's here tonight, everybody supporting SKR. If you're not supporting SKR and you're supporting another team, well, where are you? You're very quiet. It just looks like SKR supporters in the chat so far. Don't see anyone else speaking up in defense of their league. Fusion sitting on 15%, LSA sitting on 8%, and SKR, well, no bias on this channel, sitting on 77% of the vote. Who are you voting for? And as we've seen every other week, where do these 4QM8 fans watch the race from? Because clearly they're not watching on NFR. 0% for 4QM8, and that's what it was last week. Things at the front have changed. Tian led the race absolutely dominated qualifying. That's what I say. Those qualifying laps don't always translate to race pace because DRS becomes an issue. You might have half a second on those drivers behind you, but every lap you lead the race, you tow them around lap after lap, neutralizing any advantage you may have. What has Death Queen now done wrong? Death Queen getting L's in the chat. Everyone was spamming W's in the chat. Now Death Queen's getting an L in the chat. I'm not sure what that is about. Shane leads the way for Fusion. This is exactly the result Fusion would need tonight. A big points tally. But there's a lot of work to do. He leads the way, and he leads the way from two very, very quick drivers. France P2, Tian P3. If you can keep up with these two, you're already doing a fantastic job. David's in P4, giving Jonas hell. Jonas trying to secure that P4, but he's having to have his hands full with the LSA driver. Means two LSA drivers up in the top four. Those are the main championship contenders, currently in P2. 98 points back from SKR. They need a good result here tonight. We do have a caution, but it's disappeared from our screens before it could trigger anything. This is another SKR driver, Andre in P9. In the points, I think he would just like to be a little higher up in the points. Of course, the point is you want to get all four cars in the points, but preferably you want to get them as high up in the points as possible. Andre P9, Sugar Bear P8. Jonas into P4. He's got an 8/10 gap now on that LSA driver. He was fighting against Lam. He was fighting against Davids. Now the LSA driver behind him is Lam Royale. Somebody lost some momentum, but Jonas is in P4. It's 1.9 seconds adrift from this battle you see at the front. Tian now sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:31.3. That's your leader, but that lead is again under threat as France goes to the inside with the help of DRS down the main straight. And he reclaims the lead of this race. That means everyone in that top three has led the race. Shane has led the race, France has led the race, Tian has led the race. And I don't think we've seen the end of that just yet. France still leads the way. Tian P2, Shane P3, trying to stay in contact with that DRS battle. You don't want to fall out of DRS, especially if it's those two drivers ahead of you. Fall out of DRS and they can simply disappear down the road. Let's go SKR in the chat. I suppose if you are from another league and you tune into this channel, you're probably going to run away because well, there is a lot of bias, isn't there? This is like Sky Sports if 4 of the drivers on the track were British. I mean, how many British drivers do... I think we do. Do we have 4 British? I think we do have 4 British drivers. If Ollie Behrman is British, so Ollie Behrman, Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris and George Russell. If one does go through waves like that, at one stage we had 4 Germans on the grid. Rosberg, Vettel, Wehrlein. And all of a sudden I can't remember the 4th one. Of course, Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg's always been there. Top three still so close together. Tian versus France versus Shane. 4QM8, LSA and Fusion out front. P4, another LSA driver. Then the first you see of the championship leaders is down in P5. It's Jonas. He'd love to be a lot closer to the top three, but for the time being, he's got his hands full. He's got his hands full with Lam Royale. He can't worry about the top three. He's surrounded by LSA cars. He's got one ahead of him. He's got one behind him. They can work as a team. He's out there on his own. Out front, no teamwork amongst the top three. Those are three very different leagues. France goes back to the front. He's made that same overtake a few times in this race. So difficult to defend when you're at the front, lap after lap. There's no way you can stay there. The only way you can stay there is by shaking him off. And again, Tian goes to the front of the field. These two just trading places at this stage. Shane just a further 4/10 back in P3. Hasn't really got involved in the last few switches of position. Just sitting in P3, waiting to see what's going to happen. Waiting for a mistake from one of these two. Waiting to pounce. But you don't want to get overly excited, overly aggressive. Find yourself in a position where you go off circuit and those two just, well, they just are gonna disappear down the road, aren't they? That's the thing with League v League. It's a great thing to commentate on, it's a great thing to watch, and I'm sure it's a great thing to drive in. But you know, in the back of your mind, one mistake could be the end of this race. Everyone else in the field is so quick. Without the help of a safety car, one mistake could mean you end up right at the back. For the time being, right at the back is Pantry Star. He's made a pit stop. He's 33 seconds adrift from the rest of the field, so he'll be hoping for some sort of intervention in this race. An intervention that doesn't seem like it's coming for the time being. Still got all 16 drivers we started with. Tian leads the way, France P2, Shane P3. Then the first of those SKR drivers doing everything he can to shake off Lam Royale, but he's on the hard tyre. The car chasing him is on the medium tyre, so he's got that slight grip advantage, but those mediums will start to fall away. And the first man affected at the front of the field will be Shane in P3, Lam Royale in P5. Those cars are going to have to pit earlier than everyone else around them. This is where strategy comes into play. First into the race, you're together, you're racing. Then you have your pit windows. And then we see where everybody lands up. Sometimes what happens is, after all the insanity, pit stops laps and laps apart, the cars that were racing each other somehow find each other on the circuit once again. Now we've got Tian and France just starting to open up a gap, and Shane dives into the pits on those 8-lap-old mediums. Maybe just felt they were starting to go away from him. See P1 and 2 going away from him, and he knew the mediums weren't going to get any better from that point. Two SKR drivers switching positions. That's Sugarbear and Andre, P6 and 7. Such a fine line in League v League. You can't fight your teammate, you can't race your teammate. There's absolutely no point in doing that. Doesn't matter if your teammate finishes ahead of you or behind you, it's the same amount of points. And while racing nicely together, you need to make sure you're not racing too nicely together. Otherwise you're just going to be losing an incredible amount of time. So they still need to be on the limit while making sure they don't do anything silly. Sometimes that racer's reflex kicks in. For a second, you forget what you're doing. You dive bomb your teammates and everybody thinks, what went through his head? For most of these guys, they race in more than one league. Some of them race in 2, 3 leagues a week. Some of them even race in internationally based leagues. They'll be used to racing every other night. And when they come to League v League, it's this different strategy of racing. But at the front, they don't need to worry about it too much because, well, there's 3 leagues at the front. Big gap between P1, 2 and 3 now. France leads from Tion and that's still close, 0.2 of a second. Now Jonas is the man in P3 on a set of hard tyres, and you can see there he just hasn't been able to shake off Lam Royale. And Lam Royale still being towed around, while some of the drivers came in 8 laps on those mediums. Lam Royale 10 laps on the mediums, taking them a little further than everybody else. France and Tian very much in control of things. Jonas in P3, still having to defend that podium position for all it's worth. Shane was comfortably on the podium, but he has since come into the pits. He's emerged back in P9. Just having a look, where is he? 3.5 seconds adrift, so that means he does have some clean air for his fresh rubber. That is crucial. Of course, the way this works, guys who started on hards, well, those hards will be starting to go past their peak. Guys on brand new hards, well, they should effectively be going quicker, which means by the time Tian and France do pit, Shane will be hoping to be just up the road from them. Sometimes that doesn't work out too well for you because you come out in traffic. Takes a whole bunch of laps to make up a few positions, and those fast laps you were hoping for are simply impossible. But in Shane's case, he has come out in some clean air and is able to just throw aggression at that new set of tyres and try and make up some time. That gap was 3.5 seconds, it's down to 2.5 seconds, so Shane is definitely flying at the front. Tian and France. Almost getting tired of saying that. Tian and France. I'll just say 4QM8 versus LSA. P1, P2, P4 in the championship versus P2 in the championship. And the championship leaders. Jonas flying the flag in P3. Now David's getting very dangerously close to falling out of DRS. That means he'll lose that advantage. Then it comes down to pure pace. If Jonas has 2 or 3 tenths on him every lap, well, that means he gets smaller and smaller down the road. Whereas if you only have 2 or 3 tenths on your opponent and he's within DRS, well, those 2 or 3 tenths come down to nothing. This was the man we were talking about earlier. He had a 3.5 second gap. I said he had clean air, but he's not going to have clean air for much longer, because he's closed that gap very quickly. He's in P8, but look at that, Trompy just ahead. If it was one of his teammates, he knows he could just fly by. He's not going to have that pleasure. That's a 4QM8 car. That's Trompy. Just goes alongside. It didn't take him too long to make that overtake. Goes up into P7, and his next target will be another 4QM8 car. Another black and gold. This is Andre, yet to make a pit stop. He's in P5 for SKR. And this is David. You can see that gap. The moment it fell out of DRS, all of a sudden, Jonas has found half a second on his opponent in just half a lap. That's the difference DRS can make, that toe. The moment the toe goes away, you see your opponent's true pace. to the leaders. No sign of a pit stop. Of course, only lap 13 of 29. In fact, lap 14 of 29. We're approaching halfway distance. Tian leads from France. There's Jonas, still in P3. 4.2 seconds is the deficit. Be thinking, how do I close it? If it was another two drivers, he might be able to close it, but those two drivers, well, he's gonna have to do something really special, or they're gonna have to do something really silly. Closing a 4-second gap is one thing. Closing a 4-second gap in this league is quite another. Go back to Shane to have a look at his progress. He's overtaken that second 4QM8 car, so he's made up 2 positions in the last 2 laps. I'm sure you would prefer if this was clean air all the way. Even if you do get by in the space of a corner or two, do waste a little bit of time. Takes a few tenths off. It could be crucial tenths between you being ahead of Tian and France or being behind Tian and France. In a one-stop strategy like this, usually from the medium to the hard or from the hard to the medium, it's a decision you got to make right at the start of the race. Are you going to end on the hard with a long run, or are you going to end with the advantage of the medium? Top 2 drivers have chosen the latter. They went on the hard. They're going a little longer. They're going to finish with the better tire, and that's not good. That's not good news for the rest of the field. This is Jonas, 4.8 seconds, 4.7 seconds. Correction. So he's not getting any closer to the top 2. The gap does seem pretty stable, not losing too much time. Remember, those top 3 on identical tires, hard tires, 14 laps old. In fact, that's the case for everyone in the top 5. No one in the top 5 having made a pit stop. First of the pit stop runners, well, that goes to Shane. Currently in P6, 6.9 seconds behind his next opponent, so he's got the clean air I said he needed. And the focus goes back to the leaders. When do they pit? When is the right time? Could they potentially wait a little too long and let Shane come out ahead of them? As things stand, it would be pretty close. I think the gap between Shane, I think I can actually do that. Let me just see. From the leader down to Shane, I can do that. I was almost right. I was going to say 22 seconds. In fact, it's 23 seconds, the gap between Shane and the leader. But stop around here will take about 20 seconds. Unless complete disaster hits. Remember, when you come over to these custom cars, you don't really know who you're sharing a garage with. That means P1 and 2 could come in on the same lap. And there is a chance, it's a very small chance, there is a chance they could be sharing a garage and somebody's going to double stack. So just to guarantee your position, you might want to come into the pits first. Don't think we've seen an example of that just yet. 2 drivers racing each other closely and they share a garage, but it is something that can happen. And even if you checked in qualifying who you were sharing a garage with, well, that's not going to apply because the lobby broke. This is a new lobby. You'll be sharing with someone else. Who that is, Well, it's a risk going into the pits at the same time as someone else. Pfizer asking for a safety car. Told everyone at the start of the race, if we're going to see a race without a safety car, it's probably going to be this one. Lots of runoff area. You can see lots of space all around the circuit. The circuit itself, one of the widest circuits on the F1 calendar. Of course, 15 meters in parts, 12 meters average. Very wide race circuit. And then to go with it, lots and lots of runoff area. And where the barriers do come close, like on the straight you're looking at, well, it would be really unfortunate for you to come off there. Very unlikely for you to come off there. All the corners you could potentially come off, well, look at all that runoff. So if you're waiting for a safety car from somebody making human error and going off the circuit, that's very unlikely. The only safety car we will see is if two cars collide. And at the moment, not that many cars are within DRS of each other. And the quality of driver. Remember the quality of driver in League v League. This is the best. This is the best from each league. They're not going to send their worst. For example, they wouldn't send me. I'd be at the bottom of every list. France leads from Tian. Gap has not changed. Gap has not extended, and it couldn't get any shorter. Nick Geshen picks up a 10-second penalty, and that is a pit violation, speeding in the pit lane. He can serve that if he chooses to pit again. If not, add it on to his race time. Jonas still the man in P3, and you can see how he's cleared that LSA driver now. When it came down to all-out pace, without that DRS assistance, he's been able to make that P3 his own for the time being. I think he's going to be fighting that P3 with Shane. And as Shane continues to put in some amazing laps, and he is doing so. He's actually catching Andre now at quite a rate of knots. Let's try and bring back that leaderboard. I want to see what is the gap between P1. It's now down to still 22 seconds. The gap between P1 and Shane. Remember, Shane was very much a part of this battle for the lead. Now it involves two cars. Not so long ago it involved three, and Shane was one of them. He came into the pits when he started dropping off the pace. And we're watching to see if these three cars will be united once again. As for Jonas, he's doing everything he can to join that party. And he's hoping for a safety car to help him do it. One second closer to the driver in P4, so Shane's still making up time. If that gap falls below the 20-second mark, well, I think we're going to have three race cars very, very close together when France and Tian eventually do pit. When that pit stop will come, I'm not sure. It's lap 19 of 29. We saw some of the medium runners only doing 8 laps. So I don't think you could finish this race on a set of softs. And will it be this lap? They go around the final corner. Do they dive into the pits? Absolutely not. It's going to be lap 20 of 29. And the leaders are still on the same set of tyres they started the race on. And they're not done. They're not done trading places. Dion back to the front. Makes it even more impressive is as those two battle, trade places, Jonas still not able to close the gap, and that's with the two of them fighting. I think if it was just the one of them on their own in clean air, they'd be even quicker. Comment section going awfully quiet, waiting for a safety car to shake things up. Wake up the comment section. I don't think that safety car is going to come, but look at last night. Last night we had a safety car with 3 laps to go in the race. So I'm not going to call it just yet. The only time I'll call no safety cars when we get to lap 27 of 29, because then there's absolutely no time for one. Jonas, still in P3. Shane, the man on the move, coming through the field. He's got past Andre, and now he hasn't stopped there. He's got past Lam Royale as well. That gap, 22 seconds still, the gap. The leader's doing a fantastic job of maintaining that gap, 22 seconds down to Shane. And if calculations are absolutely right, well, he's going to be about 2.5 seconds behind those 2 leaders. And now the leaders do pit. Tian into the pits. He's going to put on a set of soft tires. Shane in P3, Lam Royale into P2. Some of these drivers out of sync because they started with the medium. They're already on their final run. As for Tian, bad news for everyone. He's out of the pits, in the lead of the race, on a set of brand new soft tires. If you're chasing for the victory, that is probably the worst case scenario. Tian leads from Lam Royale. The gap is 1.3 seconds. Did something go horribly wrong? France in P4. Why did he lose all those positions? He was so close. There's no way my prediction could have come true. There's 10 sets of garages. The chances that you're going to share it with the man you're racing. But France lost a lot of positions coming out of the pits, and I wonder if those two had to double stack. Tian, Shane, France. That is your new top 3. But Tian already disappearing into the distance on that brand new set of softs. I don't think anybody's going to have the tools to catch that car. Another man who went onto the soft compound late in the race was Jonas, also just the 1 lap on those softs. So he should have the tools. He should have the tools to at least get much closer to that podium. But he's going to have to make some overtakes on some very quick drivers if he wants to get there. Now Klaassen picks up the fastest lap of the race, but that was brief because Blade now picks up the fastest lap of the race. This is all the drivers out on soft tires, starting to show the effects, all that extra grip. The cars are very light at this point in the race, not long to go. Fastest lap will definitely go to somebody who's out there on soft tires right now. So prime candidates for the fastest lap, Jonas in P5 and Tian in P1. Had just the 1 retirement. That was Nick Gishin, a DNF. I think that's a Fusion driver. They would have liked to have had all 4 of their cars in the points. 4QM8. Well, what a driver to have on your side. Tian leads. 2.7 seconds. Jonas, fastest lap of the race. That's good news for the SKR driver. He is making up ground. 2.6 seconds up to the next driver. That is Shane. Shane is on an aging set of hard tires, as is the driver ahead of him, Lam Royale. Aging set of hard tires. Those tires will start to slip and slide towards the end of the race. And while Shane has those brand new mediums on his car, he needs to take full advantage. Those soft tires will degrade pretty quickly. when they do get to lap 28, 29, they're not going to be able to abuse those soft tyres as they are now. So if you've got the pace, you've got to go for that advantage immediately. You can't sit behind somebody else, wasting your time behind somebody who's on a slower compound. Death Queen saying, let's go SKR. Indeed. Jonas, one of the quickest drivers on the circuit, now starting to get awfully close to Shane in P4. Shane not far off Lam Royale himself. So he may be in P5, but he's not off the podium at all. The championship leaders, SKR. Not the best result tonight, but Jonas trying to reclaim some of those points. Currently in P5. LSA P6. And there's another SKR driver, Sugarbear in P7, Andre in P8. The only SKR driver not currently in the points is Pantry Star. There we see him circulating at the rear of the field. P15, obviously with Nick Gishin having retired. Said at the beginning of the race, I don't think we'll see safety cars. I don't think we'll see too many penalties. Just 2 penalties on your screen. Not really a track known for that. Very wide circuit, where if you're taking the right line, there's no reason to be invalidating laps. So, spoke about a penalty. I've said it so many times, the commentator's curse. The commentator's curse is a real thing. Luckily it hasn't triggered a safety car tonight, but I was talking about penalties and Batesy just picked one up. Luckily it was one of the drivers that already had a penalty, so just 2 drivers in the field with penalties. Everybody else in the clear. And it's what you expect, it's what you've come to expect. League v League, not a lot of retirements, not a lot of penalties. Quality drivers, drivers that are used to driving on the limit. Because they do this every other night. Of course the other leagues, Fusion, LSA, 4QM8, I don't have their schedules. If any of the admin or if anybody representing any of those leagues want to forward those schedules to me, I can read them out on the NFR channel when you're live. What the channel name is, where you can find that racing. I can give you guys a shout out on NFR. Just make sure to contact me on Discord and DM me those details, and I can let everybody in the comment section know a little more about your league. 4QM8, don't know much about them, and if you look at our supporters poll, well, they don't show up here. I tell you, LSA runs 3 tiers. If I'm not mistaken, Fusion's got more than 1 too. So some very popular leagues, busy leagues, and with all those drivers that they have in their catalogue, these are the 4 they choose to represent. That's why I say it's quality versus quality, and then there's just more quality. Read earlier on somewhere in the comment section, SKR community started small but going strong. Definitely. This channel started with SKR. Of course, first season I commentated with SKR, that was over on the SKR channel. Then we made the NFR channel, moved SKR over here, moved SAFRL over here. And it's become the home of those two leagues. NFR started just over a year ago. We're up to 850 subscribers. Not something I expected to see. And with our little additional shorts on the channel, well, we've got an average of 28,000 views a month. Dion still leads the way. 4 seconds is the gap. 4.1 seconds is the gap. So he's finding a 10th almost every corner. He's got that superior grip. He's using all of it while he's got it. Of course, the track should come to France later on. But I think it's going to be too late in the race for the mediums to take any sort of advantage. The 4-second gap is a little too big. Another race nights we've seen, there's been maybe a driver leading the way, but he's got a penalty next to his name, makes things a little interesting. But as things stand, absolutely no battles in the top 3. Get the leader, then you get 4 seconds down to P2, a further 4 seconds down to P3, then a further 5 seconds down to P4. So no battling at the front. The first battle you find is the battle for P4. It's Fusion versus LSA, Lam Royale versus Shane. And Shane, who was in contention for this race earlier on, now in P5, but he hasn't made peace with that P5. He'd very much like to take P4. Just found himself on the wrong tyre for the final stint of the race. He has made up that position, so reclaims P4. Jonas has cleared Shane by 6 seconds, so that podium position does look pretty comfortable, even if he were to pick up a penalty now. Just needs to keep the car pointing in the right direction. Still 4.5 seconds down the road from France, so he hasn't been able to make up any ground. France hasn't been able to make up any ground on Dion. So not much happening towards the end of the race. I've seen people in the comment section complaining about the amount of safety cars in the race. Well, tonight you got one with no safety cars. Let me know what you think. Do you really think it's better? I don't mind the odd safety car. Just messing things up. Lap 8 of 29. Night is almost over. Of course, had a mystery track last week. LSA decided. We had a mystery track this week. SKR decided. Next week we will be going to Mexico. That is confirmed. And then we have the next 3 rounds. We don't know where they'll be. Getting an L in the chat. At least it's not an L for the channel, not an L for the commentator. It's an L for the race. Don't be that way. That is what happens when you don't get any interventions in a race. No safety cars, no rain. Over a long period of time. After pit windows, different tyres. Cars will eventually just spread out. Pace of the different drivers will start to show. Remember, when you have a safety car, it comes in, cancels all of this out. And if it happens towards the end, well, then you have a very, very close finish. Death Queen saying still proud of the SKR boys, lots to be proud of. Jonas in P3, he's going to bring home a handful of points for the team. I think that's 15 points for P3. Also got Andre in the points. for SKR. Also got Sugar Bear in the points for SKR. So just one SKR driver not in the points. But that is the end of the race. Tian over the line, France over the line, 4.7 seconds adrift. Then Jonas has guaranteed himself that podium position, 4.3 seconds adrift. Then another 7.5 to find Lam Royale. Shane finished off second best. He was racing for that P4. I think his tyres were just a little too old at the end. 20 laps on the hards. Pit very early in this race. Remember, just lap 8. Then it's David's. Sugar Bear, another SKR driver. And he needs to change that badge. He needs to change that icon. He looks like one of the LSA drivers. Then there's Blade. Over the line in P8. Andre, confirmation of points. We've got Klaassen. Briefly lit up the screen earlier with the fastest lap. Makes up points positions. Driver of the day goes to Lam Royale. And our sound has gone away. Doesn't matter, it would have been copywritten anyway. So 2 results. Tian takes the victory. Nice overalls. Showing a bit of South African colours there. France P2 made it a close race in the first stint. Then something went wrong in that pit window. I wonder if those two double stacked. I still think they did. Jonas P3 flying the flag for SKR, keeping some points on the table. He also took the fastest lap, so he gets a bonus point up to 16. Lam Royale P4, Shane P5, David's P6, then Sugar Bear, another SKR driver, P7. We got Blade in P8, Andre P9, and Klaassen taking that final point. No points on the night for Trompy P11, Pantry Star P12, Taserface 13, Drunk Teddy Bear 14, Boatsy 15, and the only DNF of the night, Nick Gishin. Well, folks, that's the end. That's the end of another night. That's the end of another race. The end of another night with NFR. What a race it was. Things were so close in that first stint to the race. Obviously Shane was involved. We had a battle for 3 cars. Then suddenly Shane started to fall off. Chose to come into the pits. But I think he just pit a little too early because he had no tyres to play with at the end. The top 2, they got split by the pit window. Not quite sure what happened there. They were so close. They pit on the same lap and they came out quite a ways apart. So I wonder if there was some sort of double stack in that incident. I'm sure those drivers will let us know if there was. I want to thank everybody on the stream. There were a few of you here already before qualifying even started. Everyone stayed when the lobby broke, waited for the new lobby. Everyone was patient in the delay. And I have to thank you all. If you're one of the 850 subscribers on this channel, thank you. Please leave a like on the video. If it's your first visit, you haven't been here before, but you want to see more of this sort of thing, remember to subscribe, leave a like, and you can hit the bell notification to make sure you don't miss a race every time we go live. Remember, SKR, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. League v League. That's what you just watched. We'll be back next week, Monday at 8. And then obviously tomorrow, SAFRL, 8 p.m. Until then, enjoy and cheers.
Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's spin. NFR, let's begin.
let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, 'cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fake. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that mill. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run.